everyone, and welcome to Monday Meditation, The Joy of Sitting. This hour is dedicated to mindfulness and meditation practice, but also I share this with each of you as an act of loving kindness in celebrating the great teachings and the joy that they give us in our life by giving us ways of living our life so that we don't create more hardship and despair for ourselves and the people that we love. I'm going to grab something here. I am getting over a cold. If it sounds like I'm a little nasally, please understand. But I'm doing this because I love doing this and I love to provide this because it's a joy in giving and a joy in receiving. So let's go over what the plan is for tonight. And first of all, it's important to let you know that my focus for us for this week is gratitude. So the obvious question is, what are you grateful for? What floats your boat? What are you grateful for in your life, in this moment, in the world in which we live? And I hope that you agree with me, although you don't have to, that there are many more good people than not. Mostly it's the good people in this world that hold the world together, that keep us from slaughtering one another, and really keep generosity and spaciousness in the forefront of our mind. And spaciousness always starts with having space for yourself. Having space for yourself includes not just acting out every random thought and every random emotion, but having space for what it means to be a human being. This is a human experience. And it may not be what you wished for, but it's what you got. And I hope you can find the gift in it and find gratitude for the gift. One of my teachers used to say, gratitude is the attitude. So we're going to go a little bit deeper into gratitude in a few moments. However, tonight, what we start off with after gratitude, move something around here, there, is our first meditation of the evening. Now, each of these meditations tonight are relatively short, but part of my motivation in having short meditations is so that you can see that even a short meditation can give you something wonderful. You wouldn't think that taking 6 minutes or 7 minutes for a meditation could actually brighten your day, and yet it does. Certainly longer periods of meditation do something also, and yet I'm a big proponent of taking a minute here and a minute there. Following our opening meditation, which has to do with observing the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, in this amazing experience that we'll get into in a little bit. Afterward, we'll talk about the act of contracting around thoughts, contracting around emotions, and what happens when we do that, how we harden off. And so following that, we are going to do some stress and tension release, followed by the heart centering meditation. Again, each of these meditations tonight, these first two meditations, are about 6 to 7 minutes each. After the stress and heart centering meditation, which the heart centering kind of piggybacks on top of the stress practice, and the stress practice is a body-centered mindfulness practice that can be done in your life, eyes open or eyes closed as part of a meditation, as we will do in a moment. And then piggyback on that is this heart-centering meditation, which also is ancient in origin, or at least inspired by an ancient meditation. Following that, we'll take a look at the cycles that we live, cycles of impact and reaction, also the cycle of impact and response. And there's also impact and observation, which is that's where the honey is, that's where the sweet spot is. Noticing the impact and what happens. Notice that our body incorporates many alchemical processes. And in other words, there is an impact, and then what happens? And there's a kind of a chemistry to it. We start to observe this chemistry. And for the most part, as we observe it, what we experience is that if we don't judge it with good or bad or right or wrong, or from our ego, from our personality of shoulds and shouldn'ts, it's pretty amazing the way the body functions, the way that these our sensitivities work, and what the results of that actually are. Afterward, we're going to do a relatively short meditation, even shorter than the other two. And this meditation lasts about less than 20 breaths, so maybe 3 or 4 minutes. And this is one of the ancient meditations that gives us the ability to process our unpleasant emotions. Incredible meditation. It came into Tibetan Buddhism about 1,000 years ago from a Buddhist monk that trained in Nepal. He was Nepalese. And especially over the last several decades, has been introduced here to the West. The ancient word for it is Tonglen, which means giving and receiving. And you'll see how we use the breath in an unusual way in this meditation, and also some gripping and releasing in order to move this energy, feeling these feelings with the in-breath and the out-breath. Afterward, we'll take a look at what we did tonight, and then we'll close our evening with an adaptation, an inspired Beauty Way prayer from the Native American Church. So that's really everything we're going to do tonight. It's quite a few things, and I hope you'll enjoy it. And also, for those of you that may be watching this on Zoom, let's see here. There is a chat space in the Zoom space. It's being recorded on Zoom. There's also a chat space. There's a chat space here on Instagram Live. Now, I apologize. I didn't notice that I hadn't pressed the right button in the Instagram space, but here we are now. And I welcome all of you into this space and hope that you'll join me here tonight. It's also available in a social media platform called Clubhouse. And soon I will figure out how to do a single source with multiple outputs. And I'll also have it in some of the other spaces to make it more available. And let me just wave back to some of you that are here tonight. I'm waving to Mike M. Vega. Thank you for being here, Mike. Mike, unfortunately, I don't do the live video space with others, but I would love to do a podcast with you at some point if that's something you're open to. And that way we could have some exposure with the multiple communities that we may be involved in. But thank you for being here tonight. I welcome you into this space, and let's roll it now. We're going to go forward into the plan for tonight, starting with this introductory talk on gratitude. One of my teachers used to say that gratitude is the attitude. Now, the attitude of gratitude is one of 3 forms of attitudes that are called the Ascension Beatitudes, that are not just about one tradition. It's not just the Christian tradition, but also includes other traditions that recognize these three attitudes as being extremely helpful, especially when people are depressed or experiencing loss. These attitudes, and also when you're spinning out maybe rapid growth and gangbusters and all of that, and trying to find your center in the midst of all of that transition, these attitudes help you to find your center and also help you to find, a direction of your attention. So the reason for these three attitudes, or not just the reason, but the utility of it, is that when you're, let's say if you had some recent loss, it may be the loss of a family member, a pet, a friend, whatever it is, maybe your favorite automobile, whatever it was. Could be good things. Maybe you graduated from college and maybe you rarely see those people anymore and you miss them. So that's a type of loss as well, a loss of contact. So love, praise, and gratitude are the three ascension beatitudes that raise our spirits. Now, when you're going through loss, it might be difficult to find love and praise. From more of a Western approach, praise has to do with a power greater than ourselves by any name. And love, of course, is any type of love. It could be a love you have for your friends, for your dog, for your home. But finding anything that you have love, praise, or gratitude for helps to raise your spirit. Gratitude is very helpful because no matter what the circumstances are that you're living through, there's always something to be grateful for, even for the next breath, without knowing if it's going to hurt more or less than the previous breath. And it's hard to reckon with severe loss when it's someone or something that was very near and dear. Here in California, we go through a fire season where there are these wildfires that can devastate the forest and also take with it many structures. Some of those structures may be people's homes that has all of their memorabilia in it. And what could they be grateful for? They might be grateful for their life. Maybe they escaped with their life. Maybe they were able to just barely, with the fire on their heels, get out of their home, get into a vehicle, get out of the fire, and their lives were spared. Maybe they salvaged their dogs or cats. There's always something to be grateful for. And when you find that one thing to be grateful for, it automatically opens your heart and directs your spirit into the present moment. So this week, I claim, is as a central focus for the week, find something to be grateful for. So in this moment, whatever it may be for you, find something to be grateful for. One of the things I'm grateful for in this moment is for those of you that are here in this space and are enjoying this opportunity to experience this together. So let's go ahead and do our opening meditation. Before that, I'm going to wave to one other person and we'll do our opening meditation. I'm waving back to the Mind Fairy 22. Thank you for being here tonight. And for those of you that might not know, my name is Mark Pelter, and I teach loving kindness and I do personal coaching to help people to reach their goals on many levels and teach skills in order to accelerate their growth. Let's go ahead and do our opening meditation, which has to do with experiencing the space that our thoughts and emotions arise within. So with meditation, there's a certain way of breathing that's helpful. First of all, to notice if your breathing is shallow, meaning breathing about this far in. This type of breathing is where it's a type of deep breathing, but not for the purpose of becoming hyperventilated. It's for the purpose of softening into yourself. So taking just a moment to reposition your body on the surface that your body's resting, and very gently, they say like having a thread coming out of the top of your head, just gently, not too rigid, but just gently allow your eyelids to drift downward until they do close. And taking a slow and gentle deep breath in, and gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. Allowing your awareness to be aware of the way that your shoulders, chest, and belly wall expand on your inhalations and release on your exhalations. Just the natural rhythmic movement of your breath and the release. Observing the way that your shoulders, chest, and belly wall expand on your inhalations and release on your exhalations. And also being aware of the warmth and coolness of your breath. And also being aware of the moist and dryness of your breath. And also being aware of the beating of your heart and your pulse as it travels throughout your entire being. Noticing the way that your shoulders, chest, and belly wall expand on your inhalations and release on your exhalations, various qualities of your breath and breathing, the beating of your heart and your pulse as it travels throughout your entire being. And beginning to notice the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within. Notice the spaciousness within your mind that your thoughts surface within. And noticing the way that your thoughts and emotions come and go or come and stay. Some may linger, some might convert into fantasies. And noticing the space around these thoughts, these emotions, these fantasies, as you also continue to observe the way that your body movement accommodates your breath and breathing, various qualities of your breath, the beating of your heart and your pulse, and the space in which your thoughts and emotions arise within. And as you notice the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, notice this gentle, calm sense within this space. And beginning to soften into this calm. And how softening into this calm gives you greater ease in recognizing the way that your body movement accommodates your breath and breathing, the beating of your heart and your pulse, the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, and this calm, that it all takes place within. Softening that much more deeply into your calm, as that gives you greater ease in being aware of how your body movement accommodates your breath and breathing, these various qualities of your breath, the beating of your heart and your pulse, and the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, and this calm in this space. Softening that much more into the space that your thoughts and emotions are arising within. Softening your shoulders and your belly wall as you observe the way that your body movement accommodates your breath and breathing, the beating of your heart and your pulse, the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, and this calm that's somewhat all encompassing. And softening that much more into this calm and the ease that that gives you with a full field of awareness. Taking just another moment to unhook and float and drift within this calm. And taking another slow and gentle deep breath in, and gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. Slowly beginning to move your fingers and your toes, gently stretching your hands and your feet, slowly moving your wrists and your ankles, gently shrugging your shoulders and stretching your back and your neck and your arms and your legs. And when you're ready, slowly let your eyes come back open and notice if the room and space around you seems a little different than before, and if you feel a little different than you have. If there is a difference and you're curious about this difference or really enjoying it, please soften into it and recognize that this is a gift that you've given to yourself. And remember the theme of this week: gratitude is the attitude. What are you grateful for tonight? What are you grateful for in this moment? So one of the natural processes that we experience all day long is we experience our senses. We experience the way that we feel impacted by life, by living, by others, by ourselves, by everything. Whether it's the news, whether it's the mail that just came in, whatever it is for you, notice how your sensitivities, there are feelings. You feel, and around those feelings, sometimes you grab. And part of the gripping is around feelings that maybe some of them feel good and you want to encompass them, or maybe they don't feel good and you're trying to find a way to encapsulate them. And so you grab this hot poker, so to speak, you grab this unpleasant emotion, and then that becomes an expression of some type. The feeling may be pushed down, maybe you push it down, maybe you try to conceal that you were impacted. Other times you might want to express that you were impacted in your displeasure. And you might even find yourself blaming other people for your sensitivities. So some of this has to do with stress. And the more stress you have on board, the more that colors your perception of your sensitive, what you're sensitive to. What's pleasurable under certain circumstances may be very unpleasant under other circumstances. So let's do a little bit of stress and tension release. And piggybacked on that is our heart centering meditation. Now, if any of you have comments about anything that I'm saying or you want to interact, uh, please write something in the comment area. Or if you want me to focus on a specific part and explain it in more detail, or maybe in a more specific form, so that it relates better to what's happening in your life. If you do, please write in the comment area. If it's too personal to have in this space where other people also are present, but you would like to talk at another time, you can send me an email to info@mark-pelter.com or direct message me here on Instagram. In any event, you can look at my profile and see how to reach me. You can also come to my website, which is Art of Connection Now is one word. That's artofconnectionnow.com, and see some of the blog posts and what have you that's there. So, however, let's do a little bit of stress release and the heart centering meditation. First of all, with this specific form of stress release, I relate to it as a body centered mindfulness practice. As a body centered mindfulness practice, this can be done eyes open or eyes closed. Because we're doing meditation, it can be helpful to do it with eyes closed so that you can focus more deeply within. And it's really about discovering the places within where your little cubbies, we all have our little cubbies where we store our stress and tension and all of that. And this particular methodology is known to go back to the time of the Buddha, perhaps before. Some people believe that the Buddha was the one who first offered these teachings, revealing this. And so, in a moment, we're going to do that. However, one more person, I'm going to wave to one more person on the way. I'm waving back to Fluidity 88. Wonderful to see you here tonight. Thank you for joining us for our Monday meditation, The Joy of Sitting Hour. And we're about to do some stress and tension release, followed by, excuse me, followed by the heart centering meditation. So once again, please reposition your body on the surface that your body's resting, and very gently allowing your eyelids to drift downward until they do close. And taking a slow and gentle deep breath in, and gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. And beginning to scan your body from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, looking for those locations where your stress, tension, pain, and discomfort reside, whether they're physical, mental, emotional, and/or spiritual, or any combinations thereof, no matter how large or how small, no matter whether they're caused by the joys and struggles of rapid growth, or on the other end, anxieties, worries, concerns, whatever the case may be, whether they're personal, relational, economic, financial, it may be work related, whatever it is for you. Notice the locations and content where your stress and all of that reside within your being. And sometimes we grab our thoughts, we grab our feelings, and giving these locations and content, allowing your love to work for you and through you by giving these locations and content a very warm, tender, nurturing, caring, loving, inclusive, and connecting embrace. And giving these locations and content a very open-hearted, full-hearted, another tightening your embrace just a little bit more in order to give these locations and content a very full-hearted and open-hearted, warm, tender, nurturing, caring, loving, inclusive, and connecting embrace. And softening and releasing, gently bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to this feeling of release. And allowing this feeling of release to flow throughout your entire being. And allowing all of your senses to register this experience of release. Scanning once again from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, looking for the locations and content where your stress, tension, pain, and discomforts reside, whether they're physical, mental, emotional, and/or spiritual, or any combinations thereof, no matter how large or how small. And giving these locations and content the gentlest of embraces that's possible for you, giving them a warm, tender, nurturing, caring, loving, inclusive, and connecting embrace. And softening and releasing. Gently bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to this feeling of release. And allowing this feeling of release to flow through your entire being. And allowing all of your senses to register this experience of release. And softening into this experience of release. And scanning your body one more time from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, looking for the locations and content where your stress, tension, pain, and discomforts reside, whether they're physical, mental, emotional, and/or spiritual, or any combinations thereof, no matter how large or how small. And this time, just the gentlest of touches, whisper soft, barely touching the fringes of these locations and content with a warm, tender, nurturing, caring, loving, inclusive, and connecting in contact. Barely contact. And softening and releasing. And gently bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to this feeling of release, and allowing this feeling of release to flow throughout your entire being. And allowing all of your senses to register this experience of release. And softening into this experience of release. And very gently bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to the dull ache in your heart, the doorway in. And you know this dull ache from many experiences, some good, some pleasant, and some not so pleasant, like with heartaches, with heartbreaks, with losses of any kind. And maybe you prefer to push those experiences down, and yet this dull ache in your heart is always here. And leaning backward into this dull ache, and leaning back more and more and more until you somewhat plop inside your own heart. And allowing all of your senses to register this experience of being on the inside of your heart. It might be more quiet on the inside, perhaps more peaceful, perhaps more calm. And noticing the place within your heart that your love always arises from, whether your love is for a person, a place, a thing, a two-legged, a four-legged, a no-legged, whether your love is for someone on this plane of existence or any other. Your love always arises from this place. And allowing your love to flow through you and around you. And allowing all of your senses to register this pure love that lives within you. And noticing some of the essences of love that live within your love, like caring and kindness, and also this amazing vibration of connection. And you know what it's like to connect with a person, place, thing, or to want to connect when it isn't possible. And allowing your vibration of connection to flow through you and around you. And allowing all of your senses to register this pure connection that lives within you. And softening into your pure connection and allowing it to saturate your being. And taking just another moment to unhook and float within this incredible pure connection that lives within you. Perhaps noticing how fulfilling it is to experience your pure connection. And taking another slow and gentle deep breath in and gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. And slowly beginning to move your fingers and your toes, gently stretching your hands and your feet, slowly moving your wrists and your ankles, gently shrugging your shoulders and stretching your back and your neck and your arms, your legs. And when you're ready, slowly let your eyes come back open and notice if the room and space around you seems a little different than before. And if you feel a little different than you did, if there is a difference and you're enjoying this difference or curious about it, please soften into it and recognize that this is a gift that you've given to yourself. This next talk is about processing emotions, especially unpleasant emotions. Unpleasant emotions can be caused by so much anticipation and loss, losses of opportunity, maybe things didn't turn out the way you hoped for, or they can be from encounters that were not pleasant. They come about somewhat spontaneously, maybe while on the highway, rush hour, and someone cuts you off, and you had to jam on your brakes, and all of that. And then what do you do with that? And so unpleasant emotions, we either stuff them or what? Because we're breathing it in and we're breathing it out no matter what. We have feelings, whether we want to admit that we have feelings or not. Sometimes we have very unpleasant feelings. And then what do we do with that? And so this meditation that we're about to do, the ancient approaches for something we can do about it. In the ancient teachings that were brought to Tibet about 1,000 years ago, it's called Tonglen, which roughly means giving and receiving. But it has to do with how we can process our emotions, but in an atypical way through breathing. And we're about to do that. And when we process our emotions, we feel better. And so it's always, the practice is to always start with the most unpleasant emotion of the day or past few days, whatever it is for you. Maybe you have to talk with someone about something it didn't really, wasn't the best, it wasn't your favorite conversation to have. Whatever it was for you pick the one. Maybe it was much more severe than that. We always start with the worst one so that then we know we're not making it up. And if it transforms into something that isn't unpleasant, we know we did something. So why not? You pick the one that is your least favorite one of the day, and let's go ahead and do this. Now, Tonglen can be done eyes open or eyes closed. You decide. Just because we're doing meditation, if you're in a safe place for doing meditation, once again, please reposition your body on the surface that your body's resting. Maybe shrug your shoulders a little bit to stretch your back. And as you're ready, very gently allow your eyelids to drift downward until they do close. And on the next in-breath, breathing in your most unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for your human experience. And breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for your human experience. Breathing in your most unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for your human experience. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for your human experience. Breathing in your most unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for your human experience. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself and your human experience. Continuing to breathe, leaving your eyelids closed, and considering if we had some magical device capable of measuring all of the qualities and distinctions of human emotion, of everyone on this plane of existence in this moment. Even though their circumstances may be very, very different than yours, how many of them would measure so close to your measurement as to be indistinguishable? One other person, 10 other people, maybe hundreds, perhaps thousands, maybe even millions of people feeling just like you and just like me. And on the next in breath, breathing in your most unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all of them and yourself and this human experience. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all and your human experience. Everyone's human experience. Breathing in your most unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all and this human experience. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all and this human experience. Continuing to breathe, leaving your eyelids closed and evaluating. Do you feel any more compassion for yourself and your human experience? And if you do, just gently soften into this compassion. And do you feel any more compassion for others who also have this human experience? And if you do, gently soften into this compassion. Slowly taking another gentle deep breath in, gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. Slowly moving your fingers and your toes, gently stretching your hands and your feet, slowly moving your wrists and your ankles, slowly shrugging your shoulders and stretching your back and your neck and your arms and your legs. And when you're ready, slowly let your eyes come back open, noticing if the room and space that you're in seems a little different than before. And if you feel a little different than you did, even acknowledging if you feel even a teensy weensy bit more compassion, however much compassion you may feel. So let's take a look now at what we did tonight, because we're about to close for the evening, and we'll at the ending we'll do inspired version of the Beauty Way prayer from the Native American Church. Tonight we started off with our focus for the week, which is gratitude. We talked about the Ascension Beatitudes and the attitude of gratitude and always having something to be grateful for. Following that, excuse me, we did our opening meditation by being aware of the space that our thoughts and emotions arise within and this incredible calm that we experience within that space. Following that, we talked about the way that our senses get activated or stimulated in our environmentals, whether we're at work or at home or watching whatever it is. Notice your sensitivities and how they get stimulated. And also with the stimulation, the way that we grip around that, the way that we process that, and also the ways of releasing that. Following that, we did our second meditation of the evening, which included a stress and tension release method, a body-centered mindfulness practice that is known to go back to the time of the Buddha. And then piggybacked on that mindfulness practice, we did our heart-centering meditation and experienced this incredible feeling of connection, this pure connection that lives within us, and how fulfilling it is to experience that. And then afterward, we talked more about cycles of impact and reactivity and responsiveness, stuffing feelings. We went deeper into that. And then following that, on the heels of that, we just finished our processing of unpleasant emotions meditation and how that transformed into compassion for yourself and others. Now we're about to close our meeting for tonight by using a type of prayer. It's an inspired version of the Beauty Way prayer from the Native American Church. And when we talk about beauty here, we're not talking about a person, a human. We're talking about the way that our mind and heart are inspired by experiencing certain things, whether it's the Grand Canyon, whether it's the great oceans, or in the night sky when there's no glare and we see these incredible millions of stars in the heavens. And maybe we see shooting stars, whether it's a specific type of meteor shower, or maybe it just happens to be a random shooting star, or maybe we see one of the satellites going overhead. But we see this magnificent Milky Way that our planet exists within. And it isn't there to diminish you in your own mind, but it's there because we're a part of this. We're a part of something whose size is so immense that it staggers our mind. And its longevity is so large that it also transcends our understanding. As I said before, and yet we come to see that we're a part of something that is so incredibly beautiful. So when I say the word beauty in this prayer, that's what I'm referring to, this beauty that we're a part of. So let's go ahead and do this. Beauty that is in front of us, and beauty that is behind us, and beauty that is to the left of us, and beauty that is to the right of us, and beauty that is underneath us, and beauty that is above us, and beauty that is all around us. And it is extremely important to remember the beauty that is within us. Dear friends, there's a word that the Navajo people use in their language. The word means walk in beauty, and it's pronounced something like this: Ojanaha slain. Ojanaha slain, Ojanaha slain, Ojanaha slain. Dear friends, walk in beauty, and please always remember that you bring the beauty with you wherever you go. Walk in beauty. Thank you for being here tonight. It's always a joy to spend time with you. Walk in beauty. Namaste. Kasho. Many blessings. And remember, you bring the beauty with you wherever you go. Walk in beauty.